The blame game in full swing in Texas after a winter storm wipes out power and heat for thousands of people. The wind turbines froze last week. Coal and gas had to surge to provide the backup. Then it got even colder. Demand grew and knocked them offline. But far-left Democrats are spinning it to defend the Green New Deal, launching a new war on energy workers. Joining me now is host of the brand new Discovery Plus series, 6 Degrees, which is about as cold as it is in Texas, Mike Rowe. All right, Mike, you've seen what's been going on down there in Texas. We all love clean energy, but we also need fossil fuels. But for some reason, people want to put workers in the fossil fuel industry out of business. Explain to me what this motivation is all about.
I'll give them the benefit of every doubt and simply say that when you live in a binary world and you have this kind of a narrative, then you need a good guy and you need a bad guy. We've really become very, very simplistic, I think, in the way we look at complicated problems. Energy is a complicated challenge, and it's convenient, especially if you're predisposed to believe the world's going to come to an end in 9 or 12 years or whatever the latest estimate is. It's convenient to put a black hat on fossil fuels, but we just can't do it. We can't make energy the enemy for a lot of reasons. But look, there's no bigger investor in alternative energy than oil and natural gas. So it kind of starts with that. You know, it's like shooting rats in the bottom of your boat with a shotgun. You'll hit them, but you're going to blow a hole in the boat and the whole thing's going to go down. So we're connected in ways that we don't seem to really understand vis-a-vis our energy. And as much as we'd like to simply say these guys are good and these guys are bad, it's a trap. And it's not just at the pump, and it's not just the price in your house or the temperature in your house as you're freezing to death or sweating to death. It's yoga pants. You're right. It's everything made from petroleum. It's the keypad on my computer. You know, it's all connected. And if we try and unravel it the way we seem to be determined to do, we're just going to start pulling on threads, and the whole quilt is going to bunch up, and it's not going to be pretty.
Well, if the country knew that they use petroleum in yoga pants, I don't think you'd ever even hear about the Green New Deal. I think we need to get the word out quickly. Mike, I wanted to zoom out for a second and talk to you about just the big picture of deindustrialization in the United States of America. We had a report out of Baltimore the other day. Some ex-con wanted to pay shooters not to shoot people because the crime rate was so bad. And I started looking into the city of Baltimore, and I found out, 60, 70 years ago, this was a thriving industrial port city with car factories, with rail, with steel, chemical factories, and people made a great living there in blue-collar jobs and could afford to have a house and everything. And now it's all gone. And I'm looking at the Amtrak route because Joe Biden said he took the Amtrak train from Wilmington, Delaware to Washington, D.C. for about, 40 years. Well, that track goes right past Baltimore. So Joe Biden must have seen with his own eyes how the city of Baltimore decayed, unless he was sleeping on the train. I don't know. There he is on the train. He's not sleeping, so he had to see what happened to the city of Baltimore over the last several decades. What is the solution? Because it's sitting there right next to Washington, D.C. What would President Mike Rowe do about this?
Funny you should ask. That's my hometown. I grew up in Baltimore. I live not far from the Amtrak station. And you're right. My dad worked at Sparrows Point, Browning Highway. It's a big, muscular, hardworking town. Look, I mean, that's a complicated question. I think it's a frog in a boiling water. The temperature went up real slow over a lot of years. And the next thing you know, a lot of things have gone off the rails in that town. But look, obviously, I'm not an economist. Deindustrialization, the minimum wage, rent control, all these things that just drip with unintended consequences. All of these policies, without making it ultra political, it does strike me right now that people on the left and people on the right, we by and large want the same thing. Like you said, we want to live on a healthy planet. We want to live in vibrant cities.
Yeah.
We want all these things. The question is, are you impatient or no? Is it a shortcut? Right? Minimum wage is a shortcut. Rent control is a shortcut. Making energy the enemy, it's a shortcut. And shortcuts lead to long delays. And look, man, every time I come on your show, I tell myself before you come to me, I say, Mike, stay in your lane. Dude, just stay in your lane. Well, my lane is this. We're going to give away $1 million next month in work ethic scholarships. We do this every year through my foundation. And all I'm trying to focus on, Jesse, honest to God, is telling people that if you pursue a skill that's in demand, and if you master that skill, you don't need to get tied up in the conversation about dying cities and minimum wage. Right now, I know a lot of plumbers who are making a beeline for Houston and Dallas because what just happened there is just beginning. When those pipes thaw out, it's going to be like the wake of a hurricane. If you do drywall, if you do electric, if you do plumbing, you are going to make a fortune, not gouging people, but simply working as hard as you want.
Yeah.
So I try and find the silver lining in these things. And if you have a skill that's in demand, you're going to be in demand.
Go to Texas right now, people. And Mike Rowe with shooting rats in a boat and boiling a frog. That's your lane, Mike. And we appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming on Watters World.
Always a thrill.